The dad bod. So many dads have this problem. Very few don't. And here's why. It's probably not all that beer and barbecue. Maybe it is. Maybe that has something to do with it. But being a parent is hard. There's a lot of stressors. Your time to exercise kind of goes down the drain unless you make time for it. Your ability to make healthy decisions and eat at regular intervals, it gets compromised for a while, and then it gets hard to reclaim it. Now, let's say you never fell off that exercise wagon and you're eating at regular meals. Are you still snacking? Are you still stress eating? You might not even realize it, because here's the thing about stress. At the toddler stages, at the infant stages, at the preteens, there's always going to be something that your child or children are going to demand of you, and it's going to be relentless. So what happens is there's a physiological mechanism, and we could do a deep dive on that at some point in time. But essentially, there's a lot of start and stop stress mechanisms. Some suppress hunger for a brief period of time, but ultimately it culminates in a lot of cortisol floating around in your system, which is demanding recovery. Now, from a very primal perspective, your hormone system, your endocrine system, when it's recovering from those stressors, it goes into the rest and digest mode, and it looks for food to really build on that mechanism, because you've been plagued by a lot of stressors with the work rush, running to pick up kids, getting them to stop fighting with each other, cleaning a dirty diaper off a screaming child who doesn't want to be put on the changing table. The list goes on and on, trying to make it back by bedtime, and then your children fighting to not go through bedtime, and then cleaning up and setting up for the next day. This is all in a regular day's work. And, on top of that, you still got bills to pay, and, still maintaining your relationship with your spouse and your relationship with your friends. There's a lot. So, with all that said under one breath and many more, your system has to figure out some way to reconcile it all. And it's not just in your head. Your body's going to tense up and find ways to get ready to fight. And then once you put out one fire and go on to the next, it will, you have that time frame in which you have extra cortisol. It creates more demand. It creates more stress. It also creates more hunger at that point. You may be stress eating and you won't know it, and it feels good. It suppresses that reaction. And, one, beer at the end of the night might turn into a beer and a snack. You might be having a second dinner without realizing it. It may have crept up even before kids, but after kids, it may have gotten worse. So how do you address that? Stay tuned for more, but essentially, you got to untangle these things and work on the processes, not just a crash course in getting there.